almost a year and a half.
Yes.
And you're telling me you have another fiance.
Yes.
How long you been engaged?
A week.
What?
Where did he propose?
He proposed at
Think of it now.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Hello?
I'm
He
here.
proposed at a restaurant.
Uh-huh. What restaurant?
It was Papa Do's.
Papa Dough. What city?
Dallas, Texas.
Which location?
In Highland Park.
Oak Lawn. What day?
Last Saturday.
Where are you guys sitting?
Like specific location?
Yep.
In the restaurant?
Yep.
Towards the middle, in the middle, like central.
Uh-huh. And how did he propose to you?
He just asked me and I said yes.
He just asked you in the middle of a restaurant on a Saturday.
Yes.
What'd you eat?
So I mean, I was having a nice meal.
What meal did you have?
I mean, I don't know what you're trying to get at.
Ma'am, you have a great story to tell. I just want the details. What'd you eat? Exactly. Got the right one today. I know Papa Dough Oakline very well. I used to live in Dallas. I know how the restaurant's laid up. I work for the Pappas Corporation. I know how this works. See, when a man proposes to a woman in a restaurant, he typically lets the general manager or the manager on duty know that he's going to propose, so the restaurant can help him coordinate this. They tend to bring out a special dessert if they have the ring, if not. See, this chick just tried to make it seem like, yeah, we went to Papa Dough, and then over the course of a meal, I went to the bathroom, he came back and proposed. You are lying bash.
God damn.
Because a woman who gets engaged in public knows the details. Any woman who's ever been engaged in public can tell you what they had, what they ate, what time it was, what the waiter was wearing, what they had, because it is a memory that's seared into their brain.
You could tell by just the way that she was answering the question that she didn't have any excitement behind it. So if you really like living this life and this is really happening, you're gonna want to tell this story. So you're gonna have this, like, you know, he's not even gonna have to ask you questions. You're gonna just run it off, you know, so you could just tell him some bullshit.
Rule number 4, always remember, you chase money, never chase bitches. Never, ever.
Nigga, that's rule number 1, 2, 3, and 4.
You left the hood, you became
I'm not
a
to reach though.
No, you're not. Your people still stay right there. You gonna come home eventually.
That's true.
When you left,
That's true.
whether you left on good terms in your hood or
That's
bad
true.
terms, oh, you better than us because you left.
That's
oh,
true.
You think you the shit because you moved here. Such and such. Oh, you went to, oh, you don't fuck with us no more.
That's true.
Whether you got it or not.
That's true.
Bruh, how many rappers get killed in their hometown? It's time. Sometimes you gotta let people go so you can elevate, and you can't. What a lot of dudes suffer from is that what's the term? I keep losing the name of these terms. I be having them, but it's like when you're successful and no one else around you is successful, and so you feel bad about it. I can't think of the term, but y'all tell me in the comments.
On into any extended period of sexual contact with a person, and then you guys try to be friends, or you move into a relationship, that's not a friendship, bro.
Right.
Because those ties are there and they're not going anywhere.
Right.
And I've said this before, just because you move on doesn't mean all those emotional ties move on.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that person moves on. Doesn't mean that the ways that you guys communicated are healthy for how you need to be communicating now that you're a taken man.
Yeah.
And guilt, man, what happens is guilt starts to rise, and guilt is like bird shit on paint. Slowly but surely, if you don't get rid of it quick enough, if you don't address it, it eats away at it.
Yeah.
And eventually it decays everything that it touches. And guilt decays in a man and in a relationship when he knows he's doing things he shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you sit here and say, well, I'm not having sex with him. You say, oh, and we ain't done nothing physical. But you know the messages,
Yeah.
you know the likes, you know the comments, you know the Snapchats, you know all them little things that you've done that you wouldn't want them to see.
Facts.
And that's the easiest way to know if you should or shouldn't be doing something, and if it's wrong. Would you want your partner to be over your shoulder watching you doing this right now? No, you wouldn't. And let's times 2. Would you want them to do it? Because a lot of us as men, we be out here doing that stuff, but if we even the thought of our woman texting the dude the same way we text them girl, but we about to throw up in our.
I couldn't agree with a lot of what he just said. That just brings you back to that same thing. If you stay on your purpose, you ain't got to worry about none of that. Focus on this dollar, this money. You ain't even got to think about none of that stuff. But, you know, it is what it is.
Know somebody never really had girls in their life. Could they be 30, 40 years old still talking about rosters and shit? You understand how unfulfilling it is. Once you start getting a lot of girls, you understand how unfulfilling it is, how draining it is. When you younger, of course, I'm trying to have a whole bunch of girls, I'm trying to have a roster. But when you get above like 25, you understand how it's just not fulfilling. Still going out talking to 20 women a day and shit. Talking about some play the numbers game, chasing women, having a whole bunch of numbers in your phone, going out every weekend. You get to a certain age, that shit don't even matter no more. Live your life, make your money on. You need to be out there traveling. You need to be out there enjoying your life. We don't have time to be out there motherfucking chasing ass 24/7. If a girl wanna come in my life and make it more peaceful for me, come in my life and bring me some value, cool. But if she coming in my life to cause some confusion, all that drama and shit, you can leave, my baby.
It's usually two different type of men. It's men that sacrifice in their 20s to get popping in their later years, and it's men that played in the streets, chased them hoes, stayed on it like that, and then want to call it maturity once they hit 25, 30 years old and realize they ain't this shit with their life but chase these hoes. You 30, 35, because of his perspective, he thinks that you being 30, 35, setting your roster up after you done worked your ass off to arrive to this place to get your shit together so that you could create a roster of chicks that you really want is childish compared to what he was doing at that young age. You either got to pick one. You can't do both. You either going to chase these hoes or you're going to chase this money.
One of the best places in the world to find out what the protection of men looks like versus when they take it away. Iraq was more progressive than the United States back in 56. You can look it up. They were actually more progressive when it came to women's rights. Until Shiites, I think, took over. And literally within seconds, it went back, they were wearing burqas. Because there was no protection from the men. Right now, if men didn't protect women, y'all could walk out in this street and get raped. No one could stop it. Who's going to stop it? Men keep other men in check. That's why it's sad that women talk so low to men when literally women wouldn't have anything if men decided we're not going to give it to you.
Damn.
And allow men lower themselves to raise women up. Because if a man decided that he wanted to just continue to oppress you, what could you do to stop it? If men collectively said, we're going to continue to raise women, we're going to continue to keep women in the house and barefoot and pregnant, what could women do to stop it?
Nothing.
Thank you, dear.
That's a fact.
So men should be looked at a lot better than they are because we're looked at as horrible people and we're literally protecting and building society.
There's an old saying, privilege is blind to those who have it. And I bet they never even thought about that on that level when you think about ultimately what governs the nation. It's man's law. And more men have decided that we're going to protect our women than there are men that decide that we're going to use and abuse our women.
Emotionally unavailable men, that way they can point the finger because they're not emotionally available either, and you don't have to do the labor of finding out what's going on with you when you date a man that's worse off than you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're used to being the one that can't be caught. You're used to being aloof. You're used to not being so when you get with a man who got more red flags than you, it's easier to point at him and say he's the problem, and you walk off and don't do no more work. And then you meet a nigga who actually is emotionally intelligent. You meet a dude that actually does communicate in real time when something is wrong. You meet a dude that actually does have boundaries, and now you look funny in the light. And I'm just saying, I don't know y'all personally. I'm only speaking from my experience. A lot of women be looking funny as in the light.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, man, a lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. A lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And
yeah, I can agree with that. Vulnerability is basically showing your weakness, and women typically have been proven not to be trusted. All right, they gonna load that ammo up, and sometime in the future, pew 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 pew, shoot it right back at you. So, I mean, yeah.
Wise man once told me, if you could look in your closet, look in your driveway, and look inside your house and see more money than you can see when you look inside your bank account, You's a poor fool.
That's a fact. We gotta work on that financial literacy. That's where it's at.
You looking for like bonus points and participation points for riding for the wrong. Like you got a resume full of people that wasn't going nowhere and wasn't worthy, and you rolled for them, and you think that's what make you a good man or good woman. You didn't have boundaries enough or self-awareness enough or self-respect enough to leave the that was hurting you and misusing you, and you think showing up for them made you good. You might have some good qualities, but if you can't protect them, how good are you? If you're willing to let anybody in there to have access to what should be sacred, what should be protected, how good are you for real? Like most of us are not. You not to the point where you don't know your own value. And that's why most of us not for real. We don't know how to protect what we got because we don't know what we got. You don't know who you are. You don't know your strengths and your weaknesses. You don't know what qualities you actually bring to a relationship. So how you supposed to protect that? So you just go with what feel good to you. You go with who you got chemistry with, when all that means is y'all can kick it. That don't mean y'all can build a thing. I'm saying maybe you should spend more time kicking it instead of thinking that like, oh yeah, right now I'm worthy of a long-term relationship. Bruh, examine yourself and be honest with who the you are.
Yeah, that's what it is. I was gonna say that was like a roundabout way of saying you're not doing the work within yourself. And he went back and forth between not just talking to women, but most of it was directed to women because they're the ones that have to preserve themselves. And they're the ones that have to understand their value, because men are always going to approach. So they have to preserve whatever it is that they have. But in order for them to know how to preserve it, how to add value to a man, they have to do the self-work. And that's the thing that most women are not interested in doing. They rather navigate the world based off of how they feel about it versus, the truth.
What you say and what you do don't add up. You ain't a man, bro.
You not a man no more? Off top, off the rip?
Oh, rip, bro. The second you say, we gotta go back to that. This is old school shit. You got a woman in your life, and you say, yo, babe, I got this. This is getting done. We talking about black men now. We talking about, I'm gonna pull this because this is important for fucking men, black men to understand. Stop saying shit you ain't gonna do.
Yeah.
You heard? Stop making excuses. You tell this woman the first time is the only time.
I agree.
Huh? Yo, babe, this is what I'm gonna do. That's it. 10 years from now, you still doing what you said. You only say what you're gonna do one time. Ain't no excuses, ain't no justifications, ain't no baby, keep your fucking word. Why you saying you gonna do it then if you ain't gonna do it? Your babies ain't gonna eat tonight because you too much of a pussy, huh? Your babies ain't gonna eat tonight because you too much of a coward. Your woman can't be protected. She can't trust that you gonna say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yep.
You fucking liar. You can't. Fuck is you talking about, bro? Why is we sitting there trying to act? This shit is easy. Be a fucking man.
Right.
Have honor. Stop being a fucking liar. Don't act like you fear God, but you really fear man. Don't act like you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stop it because I'm not gonna sign off on this interview. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna sign off on that because the energy of the whole entire conversation, a lot of what you're saying is very valid, but I can't say that I agree with the.
You don't have to,
man. That's that soft ass, I don't like the way you said it. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. Like, what kind of soft? He telling it like it is. A man is no shorter than his word. A man can't stand on principle and stand on his word, stand on whatever it is he's saying. Then he less of a man. That just is what it is.